Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good to see you all. We are going to begin on page 87. I believe it's at the bottom of the page, or you can just look up here on our screens. From the psalmist, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha. Let us come to this Shabbat with joy, with singing. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yalala, 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 yalala. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yalala, 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 yalala. All right, one last time. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, Ivdu et Hashem besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yalala, 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 We begin with these words of joy because we know the world is not so easy. And we have many things in our hearts and our minds tonight as we gather for this Shabbat. And we welcome those who are joining us online. So glad you're here with us. And we begin with a kavanah for lighting our Shabbat candles, for bringing more light into the world. And Robin, I'm just wondering if you might want to light the candles tonight. Yeah, it's just nice to welcome you back into this sanctuary. And this kavanah says, where the world is dark with illness, let me kindle the light of healing. Where the world is bleak with suffering, let me kindle the light of caring. Where the world is dimmed by lies, let me kindle the light of truth. I vow to be worthy of this honor as I strike this match and kindle the flame that illumines the heart of all the world. We turn to page 1 for our Shabbat blessing. And you don't even have to strike that match. We've struck it for you. You can just put that candle right into this flame. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlek ner words of Rabbi Rami Shapiro. He says, on this Shabbat, I set aside these moments to review my mission and my priorities. I set aside these moments to honor all that I have been given. I set aside these moments to take stock of all that I am. I take this time to make Shabbat, to set aside the labors that define me and uncover the me that cannot be defined, to find in the quiet friends and community urging me to wholeness, to find in these hours rest and renewal, and to open my heart to joy and my mind to truth. On a beautiful day we have been given. Page 2, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
As we turn to page 5 for the words Shiru Ladonai, another offering by Rabbi Rami Shapiro. Sing a new song, for song is the highway to heaven. Sing a new song, for newness is the gift of humankind. To sing a new song, I must sing with a new voice. I must let go of the known and embrace the unknown. For the new is always a surprise. To sing a new song, I must open myself to wonder.
At the top of page 5. Shiro have some singers in the house tonight.
We turn to page 11 for Lecha Dodi, our song which helps us to sing Shabbat into our sanctuary and into our souls. We'll sing stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we reach stanza 9, I'll indicate with my hands it's an invitation to rise and turn to the back of the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat in, as well as to connect with our community members who are joining us online.
Wake up, Hitoremri, Kiva Orech Kumi Ori, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kevod Adonai, Alayich Migla, Lechandori, Likakala, Yalala, Yalala, Yalla, Pene Shabbat, Nekavela. Standing for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 15. We join together. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabba Ba'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon Uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru, Amen. Yehi Shmeira B'Mevarach Le'alam U'Lalmei Almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitpa'ar Ve'yitromam Ve'yitnaseh Ve'yithadar Ve'yit'aleh Ve'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'yimeru amen. Taking this moment as we enter into the Ma'ariv service with the Baruch Hu, to reflect on the nature of home, of light, of finding that solid ground underneath our feet, held in community. The blessing before the Shema, Ahavat Olam. It's about this unending, universal, eternal love. And Rabbi Rami Shapiro wrote these words, and it was put to music. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meaning. We are loved, 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 loved by unending love, an unending love. Embrace, touch, soothe, and counsel. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. Listen for it. Listen to the gentle voice inside of you. Listen compassionately to the voices outside of you. Let us listen with love to the sounds of life and feel our connection to the weave of generations past and of those yet to come. Ve'ahavat chal tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. A reading by Rabbi Yael Levi. Love with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. Place love upon your hearts. Teach love to your children. Speak from love in your home and as you walk on your way. Take love with you as you lie down and as you rise up. Carry love in your hands. Place love before your eyes. Inscribe love upon your gates. Listen deeply into the calls for connection. Love and serve the unfolding of all life with all your heart and soul. Be aware of your relationship with earth and all beings. Serve what is true. Place words upon your heart, upon your soul, in your hands and before your eyes that will help you remember to act for the well-being of earth, to act for the benefit of all life, to act so as to leave a bountiful and gracious land for those who will call you ancestor.
Bottom of page 21. Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'chodesh, nora tehilot, osef ele, nora tehilot, osef ele. Who is like you, Adonai? Like you, Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef ele nora tehilot osef ele yada 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 May I live each day with fullness of mind, attending to life and all she places before me. Thus will I live without hesitation, and only then can I lie down in peace, having given my life my all. Only then can I rise up in anticipation of a new day, knowing I have so much more to give. Let compassion refine my actions and justice shield me from enemies. Let my life be a vehicle for grace and mercy, bringing peace and comfort to all in need. May the source of life spread a blanket of peace over me, over Israel, over Jerusalem, and over all the world. Continue with the words of Hashkivenu, page 22. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Ushmot Seiteinu Uvoenu Lechaim Ushalom Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Lahamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim.
On pages, beginning on page 25, we find the words that enter us into the Amidah, our prayers at the heart of our service, and the moment when we pray, we hope to pray, at least these first words indicate, from our hearts as well. And so we invite you to rise in body and spirit as you are able. We'll sing these first 6 words together in community. And then this evening we'll allow for a little silence, either the words of the tradition, the words of your heart, just the sound of your breath, whatever you need this evening.
Adonai Sefatai Chivta Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai titach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Continue on page 96, in the middle of the page. Words that are taken from the morning service liturgy. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha. Light up our eyes with Torah. Unite our hearts in love. And this last line is the one that I love, so that we may never be ashamed. And I think that is at the heart of religion and spirituality, is to wake up, to feel that light, to open our eyes, to be aligned with ourselves and with those around us, and to live in such a way that we don't have to feel that busha, that shame, Lo nevosh le'olam va'ed. May we never feel shame. B'toratecha, b'toratecha, da'bek libeinu, b'mitzvotecha, b'mitzvotecha, v'yachel levaveinu, le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, ve'lo nevosh le'olam, le'olam va'ed. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha, b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu, b'mitzvotecha, b'mitzvotecha, v'yachel levaveinu, le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, ve'lo nevosh le'olam, le'olam va'ed. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha, b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu, b'mitzvotecha, b'mitzvotecha, v'yachel levaveinu, le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, ve'lo nevosh le'olam, le'olam va'ed. V'yached levaveinu, le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, ve'lo nevosh le'olam, le'olam va'ed. I am with you. Yeah. We'll turn to page 130. Having created that energy for the Misha Berach. And I am just thinking back as we've reached this 3-year mark since the pandemic began, and what it was like in those early days of the pandemic of reading the names. Just went on and on and on, and what a trauma that was each week to know that there were so many people sick and suffering. And over these years, thank God, our Misha Berach list has shortened. Not that there are not still people in need of healing, but in some ways, because of that experience, the place that we made as a community to hold all the people that needed that cosmic attention, to know that their names were being spoken. I feel it even more strongly now when we say the names that are on our Misha Berach list, and when you share the names in the chat, if you're online, or right here in the sanctuary, what it means to have your name spoken when you are not well. When you are not well in spirit, or mind, or body, or mood. And so we turn to this holy act of reciting the names of those who need healing in our community, those loved ones that are connected to us. So first I'll read these names, then invite you to share the names of the people that are in your hearts. So tonight our community is sending love and healing to Eliza Stern-Geyer, to Pat Urich, to Peter Feynman, Alina Clayman, to Liliana Walheim-Martinez, to Sue Gum and Nan Owens, to Marcy Terrio, to Diana Sanders, to Riva Shapiro, who is on the mend, to Brad Becker, Amaria Roberts, Kaylee Casas and Baby Zay, to Jan Amsterdam, Alan and Joanne Travis, Sonal Starr, Joyce B., Andy A., Paul P., and Gloria, to Nancy Alpert, Ayelet Bat Chava Hirsch Shmuel, Debbie Gilman, Neil Daniels Midman, Anya Kabel, Sue Boardman, Sarah Kianowski, Debbie Sachs-Buteau, Stanley Roth, and Kathy Nath. And if there are names you would like to add, please raise your hand.
Robin Isaac. Julie Contes. Meryl Rayco.
Matt Contow.
Caroline and Margot and Jen and Nessa.
Andrew Silver. Judy Cohen. Robin Yankee. Robert Christopher. Bruce Alexander.
Joanne Magnon and Judy Bowles.
Alex Kamaroff. Madeline Cooper. Peter Albert.
All of these loved ones join our voices in this ancient prayer, the most ancient we have, calling on the forces of healing to come to our loved ones. Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh et hacholim Elna Refana Elna Refana la Elna Refana Elna Refana Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh et hacholim. And on page 102, prayer for peace to spread out over the whole world. Sim Shalom. Spread out that goodness, that tova uvracha, the goodness and the blessing, the chen, the chesed, and the rachamim, the grace, the kindness, and the compassion over all the world. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam chen v'chesed. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Merachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. It is hard to stop singing that.
You ever read one of those books that starts out so strong, you are just in from the very, maybe even first page, but definitely first chapter? Feel like, and hear me out here, it's going to take a second for you to think, yeah, okay, but I feel like Exodus is one of those books. All right, admittedly, I have to say that, right? But here's why I feel like Exodus is one of those books. It starts out with a bunch of women subverting systems to get what they know is right done. They are taking on the power, they are unafraid, they are creative, brilliant, and they have a sense of the justice of their cause that lends them bravery that is both beyond what I could imagine and also so human, because they act in the realms that are available to them. We have Shifra and Pua, the midwives, and they, of course, save the lives of the Israelites who have been condemned to death. The babies have been condemned to death by Pharaoh at birth. And the midwives say to Pharaoh when he says, "Why aren't the babies being put to death?" They say to him, oh, those women, they're out in the fields, they have the babies so quick, they're hidden by the time we get there, we have no control, right? None of this is true. They're just looking power in the face and lying to get what they know to be right done. But it's their realm, right? I mean, they're not suddenly building things, right? That would be unbelievable. But this story is well enough crafted that you think, yeah, there could be people who are so brave in their own ways. And then there's Moses' sister and his mother. For the rest of forever that I'm your rabbi, you're going to have to hear all the women of Exodus all over again every year. Just like sit back and it's okay. It's a month and I have to do it, but I love it. There's the sister and the mother, right, who hide his birth and who keep him at home hidden for months on end. And then his sister devises a plan to have him be found, where the women of Pharaoh's family bathe, and they trust enough to put him in a little ark. The little ark they build. They don't build what Noah builds. It's not that story. It's a story about a mom, and she builds something tiny and safe to hold her baby who she can't hold safe anymore. And she trusts enough in her daughter to hope. And her daughter uses her ingenuity to, when the daughter of Pharaoh says, this must be an Israelite baby, we should save him. Well, there's an interesting twist on what we thought was happening in the palace, right? And the sister says, I have a nurse who can nurse him. And so Moses goes home and is connected. None of them steps outside of the world that is allotted to them, and all of them change the world. Each and every one of them. And I am, 3 or 4 chapters into Exodus, and I am like staying up late with the light on and the covers over my head so I don't bother David, and I am just flipping the pages. I am loving this story. And then we get the Exodus, right? And there are some problematic parts, and I did a little Torah study on that this year, but overall I can get behind the narrative of moving into freedom and oppressed peoples being allowed to go where they couldn't imagine they would ever find themselves going. But then I got to tell you, when we get to the end, I am struggling here. I am not staying up late at night reading the list of items made for the tabernacle and its setup. I am getting a solid 8 hours of sleep every night towards the end of the book, because it seems to me by the end that maybe I'm reading a story of the return to the usual functioning. And I love rooting for the underdog, right? That's just who I was raised to root for. And by the end, we're building a sanctuary that puts holiness in a certain contained location and creates spaces and people and hierarchies where only some can get access and some can't. And all those women who saved the day, by the way, are not at the center of this story anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you go from that beginning, where you just come charging out of the gate into what the world might be, to here? And I have to admit, I think most years I kind of end the book of Exodus going, okay, right? We got there. But this week, I read a teaching that had me slamming on my brakes and wanting to start the book all over again to see if the hints of the ending were there in the beginning. Because this week I read a teaching by Rabbi Dr. Jonathan K. Crane, who talked about Exodus chapter 36, verses 13 and 18, which are repeating verses. In the Bible, when it repeats itself, the theory on most interpretation of the Bible is it does it for a reason, right? It's not just poor editing, but instead you're supposed to find a meaning that wouldn't be there if the verse hadn't repeated itself. And so the verse is this. And he, Bezalel, made 50 gold clasps and coupled the curtains one to another with the clasps so that the tabernacle became whole. I know, you're not quite staying up late at night for it yet, but hear me out, okay? I'm going to repeat it to you because the Bible repeats it to you. 5 verses later, he made 50 copper clasps, so we've switched a little, to couple the tent together so that they might become one and whole. The rabbis suggest that the first time you read about the clasps, you're supposed to understand them as just what they are. It's clasps. Items that were used to connect cloth, to cover the tabernacle, to create a sense of space and community, and to finish and make possible that the sum of all of the parts would be greater than the parts themselves, right? To create a space. But why does it say it the second time? Because the second time, those clasps, if you read the Hebrew, can be read to say that you couple Isha el Achota, a woman to her sister. So with the clasps, their lives are bound together and become whole. In order for the sanctuary or for society to stand, you can read the redundant verse as saying, a person must be bound to another for their work to bring about redemption. Some of the work will be known and named and celebrated, like Shifra and Pua. I still want to meet a Pua one day, by the way. If anybody ever names their dog Pua, please let me know. I'd be really excited about that. But we are told that their names will be remembered for all time, for the good they did. And much of the work, it seems to suggest, will be done behind the scenes and perhaps only known and named later, like Miriam, who is actually just Moses' sister in all of the verses I spoke to you about, and only later in the story receives her own independent name and identity. And it seems that some of that clasping work that needs to be done, some of that binding yourself to something larger and bigger, or some of it we will never know about. It will remain invisible, unnamed, like that daughter of Pharaoh, who the rabbis name, but who we don't know in the text. It seems that if you look at the very beginnings of the story, the women have something to teach us about the very end of the story, about the kind of work that is required to build a society where redemption is possible. And so my prayer for us this week is that each of us find a way to see ourselves as one of those 50 clasps. That we cling to one another and to our vision of redemption. That we see ourselves the way I imagine those protesters Beth has been teaching us about see themselves, as if they are the last ones holding it together, holding society together. Even if they are not known, even if the outcome is not yet seen, even if it seems all but impossible, to hold on, to do the work, the invisible work and the visible work, and to experience ourselves and our connections, creating the context for redemption. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so. We turn to the words that generations have used to remind themselves of hope and of love in times of loss. Turning to page 44, the words of Mourner's Kaddish, the words that remind us that a life and its legacy goes on beyond the lived years. We remember together in community. If you are joining us digitally, please use the chat function to share the names of those you are remembering. We'll say the names of those on our Kaddish list and invite you here in the sanctuary to say aloud the names of those you are thinking of.
Eric, I'm realizing this is the last night of Shloshim, of the 30 days since your father's passing. So tonight we remember Marty Nass. And we remember Marianne Demers still in this time of Shloshim, this beloved sister of Beth Ann Kalapi. And the yortzites for tonight include Judy Cohen, beloved mother of Robin Vogel, Judy Einzig. This is the 37th yortzite of a mother-in-law I never got to meet, Sandy Joe's mother, Toby Melman. It's the yortzite of Nina Friedman's mother, Jane Friedman, Evelyn Taven, Yetta Ann Blau, Jerry Rubin, beloved father of Julie Goldberg, Bernard Klein, beloved uncle of Judy Belfines, and of Arthur Kling, father of David Kling. And in this year of memory, we remember Henry Wolfson, Erwin Lebo, Helen Fine, Wynne Musgrave, Sue Papanek McHugh, Bob Ruxon, Kay Ann Liss, and Duffy Brodsky. And if there are yortzites you're observing, people who are feeling close to you tonight, please raise your hand.
Cousin Stephanie helped us. Corinne Gilbert. And Bay.
For all those named, for those who have no one to say their names for them, we become one community of memory. Turning to page 44 and rising in body or spirit. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirtei ve'amlich malchutei, ve'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Ulamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. You may be seated.
And just a few announcements. Tomorrow morning at 10, there is a bar mitzvah of a lovely young man in our congregation named Grayson Hurd. And though his family couldn't be here tonight, they dropped off a very beautiful, generous oneg for us to enjoy tonight. So we'll head down there after Adon Olam for Kiddush and Motzi and some great conversation. There's Torah study tomorrow morning at 10:30. And on Sunday afternoon, please join us in the Sondheim Adult Learning class at 2 p.m. in the Oneg room or online. And then at 4 p.m., a Connections event, a learning session on Judaism and reproductive rights right here in the sanctuary. And though that event is not hybrid, it will be recorded. Next Friday night is our annual 6th grade takeover Shabbat, and it will feature the reflections of those families who recently went with Barry Glass and Bailey Starr to Houston on a service trip over February vacation. So they'll share their reflections with us, which will be really wonderful. Any other announcements we should know about? So let us end tonight's service on page 45, Adon Olam. And tonight we're going to do a setting of Adon Olam that I believe won the Hasidic Song Festival, like maybe back in the 70s, which didn't used to seem so far away, but now seems like a lot of years ago. So this is from the Hasidic Song Festival. It begins very slow and then picks up speed, and it only takes us through the first 2 paragraphs of Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ed Nasa, V'chevso Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yiyeh b'tifara Adon olam Hashem malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'yeit nasa v'chevso kol azai melech shemo nikra Acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh b'tifara ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh b'tifara b'tifara. So we'll see you downstairs for oneg.
Thanks.